I've worked in the city morgue for 3 years, long enough to stop flinching at the cold, long enough to forget that the bodies on my table were once people with names, routines, favorite songs, long enough to make peace with the silence. The dead don't surprise me anymore, until tonight. The call came in at 11:47. A high-profile case, they said. No details, no name, just a case number and a warning to keep the doors locked. I remember thinking that was strange. We always keep the doors locked. The transport team arrived 20 minutes later. 2 men in dark suits who wouldn't meet my eyes. They wheeled in a black body bag without a word, left it on the table, and disappeared before I could ask questions. I stood there for a moment, just staring. The fluorescent lights hummed above me. The air smelled like disinfectant and something else. Something metallic, something wrong. I pulled on my gloves, adjusted my recorder, checked my instruments twice. Standard procedure. I've done this 1,000 times. I unzipped the bag slowly. The man inside was younger than I expected, maybe mid-30s, dark hair, strong jawline. His face was peaceful, almost serene, like he'd simply closed his eyes and chosen not to open them again, but his body told a different story. Scars everywhere, old ones, faded to silver, fresh ones, still pink at the edges, a map of violence written across his skin. I started my initial examination, noted his height, his build, the absence of identification. My voice sounded strange in the empty room, too steady, too clinical. I reached for the scalpel. That's when I saw it, his chest, rising. Just once, barely visible, but unmistakable. My hand froze midair. The scalpel gleamed under the light. I held my breath, counted to 10, told myself I'd imagined it. Then his eyes opened, dark, sharp, fully aware. Not the clouded gaze of someone waking from unconsciousness, not confused or disoriented. He looked at me like he'd been awake the entire time, like he'd been waiting. I should have screamed, should have run, should have hit the emergency button by the door. But I couldn't move. He didn't sit up immediately. He just watched me, silent, assessing. My pulse hammered in my ears. The scalpel trembled in my grip. He tilted his head slightly, studying me the way I'd been studying him moments before. Then he spoke. Dr. Reese. My name, my full name, in a voice like smoke and stone. The scalpel clattered to the floor. He sat up slowly, carefully, like his body was remembering how to move. I backed away, one step, then another. My spine hit the counter behind me. Stay calm, he said, not a command, just a statement of fact. But I wasn't calm. My hands shook. My breath came too fast. You're dead, I whispered. The file said you were dead. The file was wrong. He swung his legs over the side of the table, stood. He moved like someone who knew his body well, someone used to controlling it completely. He was taller than I'd thought, broader, and he was watching me like I was the most important thing in the room. How do you know my name? My voice cracked. How do you know who I am? I know a lot of things. He took a step toward me. I pressed harder against the counter. Don't, I said. Don't come any closer. He stopped, raised his hand slightly, not in surrender, just acknowledgement. I'm not going to hurt you, he said. You shouldn't be alive. No, he agreed, I shouldn't. The room felt smaller suddenly, the air too thick. What happened to you? I asked. Poison. He said it simply, like it was obvious. Designed to mimic death, slow the heart, stop the breath, just long enough. Long enough for what? To be declared dead. My mind raced. This didn't make sense. None of it made sense. Why? I whispered. Because someone wanted me gone. His voice remained calm, steady. Someone wanted the world to believe I was finished. He looked down at himself, at the scars, at the body that should have been lifeless. They almost succeeded. I forced myself to think, to focus. I'm a doctor. I'm trained for crises, but not this. Never this. I need to call someone, I said. I need to report this. No. His eyes met mine. You don't. You were declared dead. There's paperwork, protocols. I have to. If you report this, you become part of it. His words hung in the air between us. Part of what? I asked. A problem, a loose end, someone who knows too much. My chest tightened. Are you threatening me? I'm warning you. He moved closer, not aggressive, just present, undeniable. The people who did this to me, he continued, they'll know you were on shift tonight. They'll know you saw me, and they'll come asking questions. Then I'll tell them the truth. The truth will get you involved in something you don't understand. His voice dropped lower. Something you can't walk away from. I wanted to argue, to insist I could handle it, to prove I wasn't afraid, but I was terrified. What do you want from me? I whispered. He studied me for a long moment, then he glanced at the camera in the corner, the one that should have been recording everything. Help me leave, he said, quietly, and forget you ever saw me. I can't just let you walk out of here. Yes, he said softly. You can. The fluorescent lights flickered. The hum grew louder. Why me? I asked. Why tell me any of this? Because you're the one holding the scalpel. He nodded toward where it lay on the floor. You had every reason to panic, to run, to call for help. But you didn't. He was right. I didn't, and I didn't know why. You saw me wake up, he continued, and your first instinct wasn't to save yourself, it was to understand. He took another step, close enough now that I could see the faint scar along his jaw, the shadow of exhaustion beneath his eyes. That tells me something, he said. What? That you're someone who looks for answers, not exits. My heart pounded against my ribs, too hard, too fast. If I help you, I said slowly, what happens to me? Nothing, if you're smart. And if I'm not? His expression didn't change, but something flickered in his eyes, something that looked almost like regret. Then they'll find you, he said, and they'll make sure you can't talk about what you saw here tonight. Silence, heavy and suffocating. I looked at the door, at the emergency exit, at the phone on the wall. Then I looked at him, at the man who shouldn't be breathing. I need a minute, I whispered. You don't have a minute. Then give me 30 seconds. He nodded, stepped back, gave me space I wasn't sure I wanted. I closed my eyes, breathed, tried to think clearly, but all I could hear was his voice, calm, certain. You're someone who looks for answers. I opened my eyes. He was still watching me, waiting, patient in a way that felt dangerous. I walked past him, slowly. He didn't move. I went to the security panel by the door, entered my code, disabled the camera. The red light blinked off. I turned back to him. You have 5 minutes. He didn't smile, didn't thank me, just nodded once. Then he walked to the side exit, tested the handle, locked. I crossed the room, pulled out my key card, swiped it. The lock clicked open. He paused in the doorway, looked back at me. What's your name? I asked. Your real name. For the first time, something shifted in his expression. Almost a smile. Almost. Not yet, he said. Then he stepped into the darkness and disappeared. I stood there, alone, the room suddenly too quiet. I looked down at my hands, still shaking. I just let a dead man walk free, and I had no idea what I'd just done. I spent the next 2 days trying to convince myself it never happened, that the body on my table hadn't opened its eyes, that I hadn't disabled the security camera, that I hadn't helped a man who should have been dead walk out into the night. I went to work, signed reports, performed 2 routine autopsies, ate lunch in the break room while my colleagues talked about their weekend plans. Normal. Everything was normal. Except my hands still shook when I held a scalpel. Except I kept looking over my shoulder. Except I couldn't sleep. On the second night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. My apartment felt too quiet, too exposed. Every creak of the building made my pulse spike. I told myself I was being paranoid. He'd said to forget, so I would forget. People don't just come back from the dead. People don't just appear in morgues and walk away. It was stress, exhaustion, a hallucination brought on by too many late shifts. That's what I told myself. Until midnight. 3 knocks, steady, deliberate, patient. I sat up in bed, listened, held my breath. 3 more knocks, same rhythm, same certainty. My heart climbed into my throat. I got up slowly, my bare feet silent on the cold floor. I grabbed my phone from the nightstand, didn't turn on any lights. The knocking came again, not louder, not more insistent, just waiting. I crept to the door, looked through the peephole. He stood in the hallway, dressed in black, hands at his sides, perfectly still, like he had all the time in the world. I pressed my back against the door. My pulse hammered so loud I thought he might hear it. "Dr. Reese." His voice came through the wood, calm, almost gentle. I didn't answer, couldn't. "I know you're there," he said. "I can hear you breathing." I closed my eyes, forced myself to think. "Go away," I whispered. "I wish I could." Silence, long and heavy. 2 men came to the morgue this afternoon, he continued. They asked questions about the body that arrived 2 nights ago, about who was on shift. My chest tightened. "They know it was you," he said. "That's not my problem." "Yes, it is." I looked through the peephole again. He hadn't moved. His eyes found the lens like he could see through it, like he could see me. "They'll come here next," he said. "Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, but they'll come. Then I'll tell them the truth. The truth won't save you." My hands curled into fists. "You said if I helped you, nothing would happen to me." "I said nothing would happen if you were smart." His voice remained steady, infuriatingly calm. "Opening this door would be smart." "How do I know you're not the threat?" "Because if I wanted to hurt you, I wouldn't knock." The words sent ice down my spine. I looked at the chain lock, the deadbolt, the thin piece of wood separating us. He was right. If he wanted in, he'd be in. "What do you want?" I asked. "To talk." "We're talking." "Not like this." I heard something in his voice then. Not impatience, not anger, something closer to concern. My hand moved to the deadbolt before I could stop it. I unlocked it, slid the chain free, opened the door. He stood in my doorway, tall, solid, real. "Thank you," he said. Then he stepped inside. Not past me, not pushing, he just moved. Like water, like inevitability. I backed away, let him enter, closed the door behind him. He looked around my apartment, taking it in. The small kitchen, the secondhand couch, the stack of medical journals on the coffee table. "You live alone," he said. It wasn't a question. "How did you find me?" I asked. "I told you, I know things." That's not an answer. He turned to face me. His eyes found mine in the dim light. "You're Dr. Emma Reese," he said. 31 years old, medical examiner. "For the city. You graduated top of your class. You work the night shift because it pays better?" My breath caught. "You have a sister," he continued. "Lily. She's 14. Attends Riverside Academy on the east side. You're her legal guardian. Have been since your mother passed 3 years ago." The room tilted. "You drive a 10-year-old sedan," he said. "You drink tea, not coffee. You run every Sunday morning in the park. You're careful, methodical. You don't take risks." He paused, let the weight of his words settle. "Until 2 nights ago, I couldn't move, couldn't breathe." "How do you know all that?" I whispered. "Because I needed to." "Why?" "Because the moment you helped me, you became visible." He took a step closer. "And in my world, being visible is dangerous." "Your world," I repeated. "What is your world?" "The kind you don't want to be part of." Too late for that, apparently. Something flickered in his expression, almost like respect. You deserve to know what's happening, he said, what you're involved in now. I'm not involved in anything. You helped a dead man leave a morgue. His voice dropped lower. You disabled security. You erased evidence. That makes you complicit. You forced me to. I didn't force anything. I gave you a choice. That wasn't a choice. It was the only one I could offer. My hands shook. I crossed my arms to hide it. Who are you? I asked. He was quiet for a long moment, weighing something, deciding. My name is Dominic Cale, he said finally. The name meant nothing to me, but the way he said it, like it carried weight, like it mattered. And what are you, Dominic Cale? Someone who was supposed to die. You said you were poisoned. Yes. By who? Someone close to me. His jaw tightened. Someone I trusted. I watched him carefully, looking for lies, for cracks, but his face remained unreadable. Why did they want you dead? I asked. Because dead men can't fight back. Fight back against what? A takeover, a betrayal. He moved to the window, looked out at the street below. My organization has rules, structure, but someone decided they wanted control more than they wanted order. Your organization, I repeated. What kind of organization? He didn't answer immediately, just stood there, backlit by the streetlights. The kind you see on the news, he said quietly. The kind people whisper about. The kind your sister should never know exists. My blood went cold. You're a criminal. I'm a lot of things. That's not a denial. No, he agreed, it's not. I should have been terrified, should have called the police, should have screamed, but I didn't because despite everything, he hadn't hurt me, hadn't threatened me, hadn't done anything except tell me the truth. What do you want from me? I asked again. He turned from the window. His eyes met mine. I want you to disappear for a while. What? The men who came to the morgue, he said, they're looking for proof I'm alive. You're the only one who saw me, the only one who knows. So what? They'll just ask questions. They'll do more than ask. The certainty in his voice made my stomach drop. They'll threaten you, he continued, pressure you, and if you don't give them answers, they'll look for leverage. Leverage? His eyes held mine. Your sister. The world stopped. No, I whispered, I'm sorry. You stay away from her. My voice shook. You stay the hell away from her. I'm not the one you need to worry about. He crossed the room, stood in front of me, close enough that I had to tilt my head back to meet his eyes. I can protect you, he said, both of you, but you have to trust me. Trust you? I don't even know you. You know enough. I know you're dangerous. Yes, he said simply. I am. His honesty was somehow worse than a lie. I'm not leaving my life, I said. I have a job, responsibilities. Lily has school. Lily has you, he corrected. That's all that matters. I can't just disappear. You can, for a little while, until this is resolved. And what if it's never resolved? He was quiet, and that silence told me everything. This is insane, I whispered. Yes. I helped you once. That doesn't mean I owe you anything. No, he agreed, but it means they think you do. I wanted to argue, to fight, to prove I was in control, but I wasn't, and we both knew it. If I do this, I said slowly, if I go with you, what happens to Lily? She comes too. She'll be safe. How can you promise that? Because keeping you alive keeps me alive. His eyes never left mine. You're the only proof I exist, which means you're the most valuable person in this city right now. To you or to them? Both. The weight of it pressed down on me. Too heavy, too real. I need time to think, I said. You don't have time. Then give me a reason to trust you. He studied me, long enough that I almost looked away. Then he reached into his jacket. I flinched, but he moved slowly, deliberately, pulled out a phone. He turned it toward me, showed me the screen, a photo, blurry, taken from a distance. It showed Lily, walking out of her school, backpack over one shoulder, laughing with a friend. The timestamp read today, 4:15 p.m. My blood turned to ice. I'm not showing you this to scare you, he said quietly. I'm showing you so you understand. They already know where she is. My legs almost gave out. But I know too, he continued. And I have more resources, more reach, more reason to keep her safe. He put the phone away, stepped back. This isn't a threat, Dr. Reese. It's an offer. Come with me. Let me protect you. Or stay here and hope they're merciful. His eyes held mine. But we both know they won't be. The apartment felt too small, too fragile. I thought of Lily, her smile, her laugh, the way she still sometimes crawled into my bed during thunderstorms. I thought of the life I'd built, the safety I'd fought for, the illusion I'd believed in, and I realized it was already gone. When do we leave? I whispered. Now. I need to pack. 5 minutes, he said. No more. I nodded, moved toward my bedroom. My legs felt numb. Dr. Reese. I stopped, looked back. You're making the right choice, he said. Then why does it feel like I'm making the worst mistake of my life? He didn't answer because we both knew there was no good answer. I went to pack and tried not to think about what I was leaving behind or who I was leaving with. I threw clothes into a duffel bag without thinking. Jeans, shirts, a sweater. My hands moved on autopilot while my mind raced. This was happening. This was real. I grabbed my toothbrush from the bathroom, some basic supplies, the framed photo of Lily and me from last summer. 4 minutes. Dominic stood by the window, silent, watchful, like he was listening to something I couldn't hear. We need to get Lily, I said. Already handled. I froze. What does that mean? I have people picking her up. She'll meet us at the safe location. You have people? My voice pitched higher. Going to get my 14-year-old sister without telling me? I'm telling you now. That's not good enough. He turned from the window. His expression remained calm, infuriatingly calm. Would you prefer I wait until morning? Let them get to her first? The words hit like ice water. I want to call her, I said. No. She'll be terrified. She doesn't know what's happening. She'll be more terrified if something happens to her because we wasted time. He checked his watch. My people know what they're doing. They'll explain. She'll be safe. You keep saying that word, safe, like it means something. It does. To who? His eyes met mine. To me. And somehow that was worse, because I almost believed him. I zipped the duffel bag, my hands still shaking. Is this all you're taking? He asked. I looked around my apartment, at the life I'd built, the books on the shelf, the coffee mug on the counter, the calendar on the fridge with Lily's school events marked in purple pen. What else matters? I whispered. He didn't answer, just moved to the door, listened, then opened it slightly. The hallway was empty, silent. Stay close, he said. Don't speak. Do exactly what I say. I'm a doctor, not a soldier. Tonight you're neither. Tonight you're invisible. He led me down the hallway, past Mrs. Chen's apartment, past the flickering light that the landlord never fixed. Down the back stairs I rarely used. Every shadow felt like a threat. Every sound made my pulse spike. We reached the ground floor. Dominic paused at the exit, his hand on the door. There's a car waiting, he said quietly. Black sedan, 30 feet to your left. When I open this door, you walk straight to it. Don't look around. Don't hesitate. What about you? I'll be right behind you. You promise? He looked at me then, really looked, and something shifted in his expression. I promise, he said. Then he opened the door. The night air hit my face, cold, sharp, real. I saw the car, black, tinted windows, engine running. I walked, one foot in front of the other, my duffel bag clutched against my chest. The distance felt infinite, like I was crossing a battlefield instead of a sidewalk. Behind me, I heard Dominic's footsteps, steady, close. The car door opened. Someone reached out, a hand, strong, certain. I let them pull me inside. The door slammed shut. The car moved immediately. No pause, no hesitation. Dominic slid in beside me. His presence filled the space. I looked out the back window, at my apartment building, at the life I was leaving. "Don't look back," Dominic said quietly, but I couldn't help it. The driver said nothing, just drove. Fast but controlled, through streets I recognized, then streets I didn't. "Where are we going?" I asked. "Somewhere they won't find you." That's not an answer. It's the only one I can give right now. I turned to him. "What about Lily? How do I know she's really safe?" He pulled out his phone, typed something, then showed me the screen. A message. Simple, direct, package secured, en route. "Package?" My voice shook. "She's not a package. She's a child. She's safe," he said. "That's all that matters." The car turned down a narrow road. Trees pressed close on both sides. No streetlights. Just darkness and the glow of the dashboard. I tried to track where we were going, but the turns came too fast, too many. After what felt like hours but was probably only 30 minutes, the car slowed. Ahead, I saw gates, high, iron, old. They opened as we approached, silent, automatic. Beyond them, a house. No, not a house. Something bigger. Stone walls, tall windows, the kind of place that held secrets. The car stopped, the engine cut off. Silence. Dominic got out first, scanned the area, then opened my door. "Welcome," he said. I climbed out, my legs unsteady. The air here smelled different, cleaner, like pine and earth and something else, something I couldn't name. The front door opened. A woman appeared, older, severe. She looked at Dominic and nodded once. "The girl is upstairs," she said. "Second door on the right." "Lily," I said immediately. "Where is she?" "Asleep," the woman replied. "We gave her tea, chamomile, nothing else. She was frightened, so we let her rest." I pushed past them, ran inside, found the stairs, took them two at a time. Second door on, the right. I threw it open. Lily was there, curled up on a bed, still dressed, her backpack on the floor beside her. She looked so small, so young. I crossed the room, sat on the edge of the bed, touched her shoulder gently. "Lily," I whispered. Her eyes opened, unfocused. Then she saw me. "Emma?" Her voice was thick with sleep. "What's happening? Those people said you were in trouble. They said we had to leave." "I know, sweetheart, I know. Are we safe?" I looked at her frightened eyes, at the trust she still had in me. "Yes," I lied, "we're safe." She sat up, wrapped her arms around me, held on tight. "I was scared," she whispered into my shoulder. "Me too." We stayed like that, for a minute, for an eternity. I didn't know. Behind me, I heard footsteps, quiet, measured. Dominic stood in the doorway, watching. "She needs to rest," he said. "So do you." "I'm not leaving her." "Then stay. There's a chair by the window." He left, closed the door softly behind him. Lily pulled back, wiped her eyes. "Who is he?" she asked. "Someone who's helping us." "Helping us with what?" I didn't know how to answer, didn't know what to say. "It's complicated," I said finally. "You always say that when you don't want to tell me the truth." She was right. She was too smart, too perceptive. "There are some people," I said slowly, "some bad people, and they think I know something I don't. So we need to stay here for a little while, just until it's safe to go home." "How long is a little while?" "I don't know." "What about school? What about my friends?" "I don't know, Lily. I'm sorry. I don't have answers right now." She looked at me, really looked. And I saw something in her eyes, something that looked too much like disappointment. "You promised we'd always be safe," she said quietly. "You promised after Mom died that nothing bad would happen again." My throat tightened. "I know. You lied." "I didn't mean to." She lay back down, turned away from me, pulled the blanket up to her chin. "Lily, I'm tired," she said. "I want to sleep." I sat there, watching her, hating myself. Eventually, I moved to the chair by the window. It was hard, uncomfortable, but I didn't care. I watched Lily breathe, in and out, steady, safe. Outside, the moon hung low and full, casting silver light across the grounds. I saw movement, shadows, people patrolling, watching. This place was a fortress or a prison. I wasn't sure which. The door opened again, quietly. Dominic stepped inside. "You should get some rest," he said. "I'm fine here." "You'll be no use to her if you collapse." I said I'm fine. He moved closer, stood beside the chair, looked out the window at the same view. "She's angry with you," he said. "I know. She'll forgive you." "How do you know?" "Because she loves you, and love doesn't disappear just because things get hard." I looked up at him, at his profile in the moonlight. "Do you have siblings?" I asked. "No." "Then how would you know?" He was quiet for a long moment. "I had someone once," he said finally. "Someone I loved, someone I protected, until I couldn't anymore." "What happened?" "They made a choice, I made a different one, and we both lived with the consequences." His voice held something I hadn't heard before, something that sounded like regret. "Do you miss them?" I asked. "Every day." He turned from the window, looked down at me. "Get some sleep, Emma. Tomorrow will be harder." "Harder than this?" "Much harder." He left. The door clicked shut. I sat in the dark, listening to Lily breathe, watching the shadows move outside, and I wondered if I'd made the right choice, or if I'd just traded one nightmare for another. Either way, there was no going back now. The dead man had walked into my life, and everything I knew had walked out. All I had left was this moment, this chair, this room, and the fragile hope that somehow we'd survive what came next. Morning came too soon and not soon enough. I hadn't slept, just sat in that chair, watching Lily, watching the window, watching my life become something I didn't recognize. When light finally crept across the floor, Lily stirred, blinked, looked around like she'd forgotten where she was. Then she remembered. I saw it in her eyes. "Morning," I said softly. She didn't answer, just got up, went to the bathroom, closed the door. I heard water running, the sound of her brushing her teeth. Normal sounds in an abnormal place. When she came out, her face was washed, but her eyes were still angry. "I'm hungry," she said. "Okay, let's find the kitchen." We went downstairs together. The house looked different in daylight. Bigger, older, the kind of place that had seen generations come and go. The severe woman from last night was in the kitchen. She turned when we entered. "There's food," she said, gestured to the table. "Eat. Eggs, toast, fruit, coffee, more than I expected." Lily sat down without a word, started eating mechanically. I poured myself coffee. It was strong, bitter, good. "Thank you," I said to the woman. She nodded, didn't smile, just went back to whatever she was doing at the counter. Dominic appeared in the doorway, fresh clothes, clean shaven, like he'd actually slept. "Good morning," he said. Lily looked up, studied him with the kind of directness only teenagers possess. "You're the one who took us," she said. "I'm the one keeping you safe," he corrected. "Same thing." "Not quite." She went back to her eggs, but I saw the way her jaw tightened. Dominic looked at me. "Can we talk?" "Not without me," Lily said immediately. "Lily," I started. "No." She put down her fork. "I'm not a kid. I deserve to know what's happening." Dominic studied her, then pulled out a chair, sat down across from her. "You're right," he said. "You do." I sat down too, my coffee cup warming my hands. Your sister helped me, Dominic said, and now some dangerous people think she knows things she doesn't, so they're looking for her. What kind of dangerous people? Lily asked. The kind you don't want to meet. Are you one of them? The question hung in the air. Yes, Dominic said simply. I expected him to lie, to soften it, but he didn't. Lily looked at me. And you knew this? I'm learning as I go, I said. So we're hiding from bad guys with a bad guy. I'm not the one you need to hide from, Dominic said. How do I know that? You don't. He leaned forward slightly. But your sister does, and she chose to trust me, so you need to decide if you trust her. It was a smart move, putting it back on me, on us. Lily looked at me for a long moment. I saw the question in her eyes, the fear, the anger. Do you trust him? She asked. Did I? I didn't know, but I knew the alternative was worse. Yes, I said. For now. For now, Lily repeated, like the words tasted bitter. She stood up. I want to go home. You can't, Dominic said, not unkind, just factual. When can I? When it's safe. When will that be? I don't know. Lily's hands curled into fists. This is insane. Yes, he agreed. It is. She looked at me, and I saw tears threatening, but she wouldn't let them fall. Not here, not in front of him. I hate this, she whispered. I know, sweetheart. Me too. She left the kitchen. I heard her footsteps on the stairs. A door slamming. I closed my eyes, breathed. She'll adjust, Dominic said. She shouldn't have to. No, but she does. I opened my eyes, looked at him. How long do we have to stay here? As long as it takes. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. I stood up. The chair scraped against the floor. I need to see Lily. Give her space. She needs time to process. Don't tell me what my sister needs. He didn't respond, just watched me with those dark, unreadable eyes. I went upstairs, found Lily's door, knocked softly. Go away, she said. Lily, I said go away. I stood there, my hand on the door, wanting to push it open, wanting to fix this, but I couldn't, not yet. So I went to my own room, the one they'd given me. It was simple, clean, a bed, a dresser, a window that looked out over the grounds. I sat on the bed, let myself feel everything I'd been holding back. Fear, anger, guilt, exhaustion. This was my fault, all of it. If I'd just reported what I saw, if I'd just followed protocol, but I hadn't. And now Lily was paying the price. A knock on my door, soft, tentative. Come in, I said. The severe woman entered. She carried folded clothes. These should fit, she said. Place them on the dresser. There's a bathroom down the hall. Towels are in the cabinet. Thank you. What's your name? She paused, like no one had asked her that in a long time. Margaret, she said. Thank you, Margaret. She nodded, started to leave, then stopped. Your sister will be fine, she said. Children are resilient, more than we give them credit for. You sound like you have experience. I raised 3 of my own in harder circumstances than this. She left before I could ask more. I looked at the clothes. Jeans, a sweater, simple but good quality. I showered, changed, tried to feel human again. When I emerged, the house was quiet, too quiet. I found Lily in what looked like a library. She sat curled up in a window seat, staring outside. I sat down beside her, didn't speak. After a while, she said, There are people with weapons out there. I looked. She was right. I could see them, patrolling, watching. They're here to protect us, I said, or keep us prisoner. It's not like that. Isn't it? She turned to me. We can't leave. We can't call anyone. We can't go home. That sounds like prison to me. I didn't have an answer, because she wasn't wrong. I'm sorry, I said. I'm so sorry, Lily. Why did you help him? She asked. That man, Dominic, why didn't you just call the police? Because, I tried to find the words, because I thought I was protecting us. I thought if I just did what he said, it would be over. But it's not over. No, it's not. She was quiet. Then, do you like him? The question caught me off guard. What? Dominic, the way you look at him, it's different. Lily, I barely know him. That's not what I asked. I didn't know how to answer, because I didn't know myself. He's keeping us safe, I said finally. That's all that matters. If you say so. She went back to looking out the window, and I knew the conversation was over. I left her there, went exploring, trying to understand this place. The house was massive, room after room. Most were closed, locked, but some were open. A dining room with a table that could seat 20. A study filled with books in languages I didn't recognize. A music room with a piano covered in dust. I found Dominic in what looked like an office. He sat behind a desk, papers spread out, a laptop open. He looked up when I entered. Finding everything okay? As okay as I can in a place I didn't choose to be? He leaned back in his chair. You're angry. Of course I'm angry. My life is gone. My sister hates me. And I'm trapped in a house with armed guards and a man I don't trust. But you said you trusted me in front of Lily. I lied. Something flickered in his expression, almost like respect. Fair enough, he said. I moved closer, looked at the papers on his desk. Names, addresses, things I didn't understand. What are you doing? I asked, finding out who betrayed me. And when you find them? He didn't answer, didn't need to. This is your world, I said. Violence, secrets, control? Yes. And you pulled me into it. I gave you a choice. No, you gave me an ultimatum. That's not the same thing. He stood up, came around the desk, stood in front of me. You're right, he said quietly. I did, and I'm sorry, but I won't apologize for keeping you alive. Even if it means we're prisoners? You're not prisoners. Then let us leave. You wouldn't make it past the city limits. His certainty was infuriating. How do you know? I demanded. Because I know the people looking for you, and they don't give up. So what? We just stay here forever? No, just until I deal with them. Deal with them how? Again, that silence, that refusal to lie. I turned away, looked out the window, at the grounds, at the guards, at the high walls that kept the world out or kept us in. I hate this, I whispered. I know. I hate you for doing this to us. I know that too. I felt him move closer, not touching, just present. For what it's worth, he said, I didn't want this either, any of it. Then why? Because the alternative was worse. I turned to face him. What alternative? Dying, he said simply. Really dying. And leaving a power vacuum that would have destroyed everything I've spent years building. And that matters more than our lives? No. His eyes met mine. But it matters to the hundreds of people who depend on me, who would be caught in the crossfire of a war they didn't start. I wanted to argue, to say it wasn't my problem, to scream that I didn't care about his organization or his people, but I saw something in his eyes, something that looked like the weight of all those lives pressing down on him. You don't get to make me care, I said. I'm not trying to. Then what are you trying to do? Keep you alive long enough to figure out a way forward. Forward to what? I don't know yet. At least he was honest. I moved away from him, toward the door. Emma. I stopped, didn't turn around. Thank you, he said, for not running, for trusting me enough to come here, even if you hate me for it. Don't thank me, I said. I didn't do it for you. I did it for Lily. I know. I left, went back upstairs, found Lily still in the library. I sat down beside her again. This time she leaned against me, just slightly. Are we going to be okay? She asked quietly. I wrapped my arm around her. Yes, we're going to be okay. Another lie. But maybe if I said it enough times, it would become true. Outside, the sun climbed higher. The guards kept patrolling. The walls stayed strong. And inside, we waited. For what, I didn't know, but I knew one thing with certainty. This place wasn't a sanctuary, and it wasn't quite a cage. It was something in between, a space carved out of danger, temporary, fragile, and all it would take was one mistake for it all to come crashing down. 3 days passed in a blur of sameness. Wake up, check on Lily, eat breakfast in the too large dining room, watch the guards patrol, try not to think about the life I'd left behind. Repeat. Margaret brought us fresh clothes every morning, always the right size, always good quality. I stopped asking how she knew. Lily barely spoke to me. She'd found books in the library, spent hours reading, or pretending to read while she stared out windows. I couldn't blame her. Dominic came by once a day, usually in the afternoon, never stayed long, just appeared in whatever room I was in, asked if we needed anything, then left before I could answer properly. It was maddening, this careful distance he maintained. Like we were guests he was obligated to check on, not people he'd uprooted from their entire lives. On the fourth day, I decided I was done waiting. I found him in his office again, same desk, same papers, same focused intensity. I didn't knock, just walked in. He looked up. Emma, we need to talk. About everything. I closed the door behind me, starting with why you're keeping us here. I told you why. You told me we're in danger. That's not enough anymore. He set down his pen, gave me his full attention. What do you want to know? Who are you? Really? I told you my name. Names don't mean anything. I want to know what you do, who these people are, why someone wanted you dead. He was quiet for a moment, weighing something, deciding how much truth to give me. Sit down, he said finally. I sat, in the chair across from his desk, the same position I'd been in countless times with colleagues, with supervisors, with normal people in a normal world. This wasn't that. My family has controlled certain operations in this city for 3 generations. He said, import, export, protection, services that exist in the spaces between legal and illegal. So you're a criminal? By some definitions, yes. By all definitions. He didn't argue. When my father died, I took over. I was 23, too young, too idealistic. I thought I could change things, make it cleaner, more controlled. Did you? For a while. He leaned back in his chair. I established rules, boundaries, no unnecessary violence, no exploitation of the vulnerable. Anyone who broke those rules answered to me. And that made you enemies. It made me different. In my world, different is dangerous. I watched him carefully, looking for lies, for the monster I wanted him to be. It would be easier if he was just a monster, but he wasn't. Or he was, I couldn't tell anymore. Someone in your organization wanted you gone, I said. Someone close. My second in command, Marcus. His jaw tightened. We grew up together. I trusted him with everything. What happened? He decided my rules were making us weak, that we could take more, control more, if I wasn't standing in the way. So he poisoned you. Yes. And now you're back. And now I'm back. I let that sink in, the weight of betrayal, the complexity of loyalty in a world I didn't understand. Why me? I asked. Why did you wake up on my table specifically? Luck. Bad or good, I don't know yet. That's not an answer. He leaned forward, elbows on the desk. Marcus needed me officially dead. Death certificate, burial, the whole process. He chose the morgue carefully, late night, minimal staff. He probably paid someone to make sure the body went to a specific examiner. But it went to me instead. Yes. So this really is just bad timing. For both of us. I stood up, paced to the window, the ground stretched out below, manicured, controlled, like everything in his world. You said you're finding out who betrayed you, I said, but you already know. It's Marcus. Marcus didn't act alone. There are others, people I thought were loyal. And when you find them? He didn't answer immediately, and that silence said everything. You're going to hurt them, I said. I'm going to deal with them. That's not a denial. No, it's not. I turned to face him. I'm a doctor. I took an oath. First, do no harm. And now I'm living with someone who. Who what? He stood up, came around the desk. Who protects his people? Who maintains order in a world that would descend into chaos without it? Don't justify this to me. I'm not justifying anything. I'm explaining reality. Your reality, not mine. It's your reality now, too. The words hung between us, heavy, undeniable. I didn't ask for this, I said quietly. Neither did I. We stood there, too close, the air thick with frustration and fear and something else I didn't want to name. I have more questions, I said. I know. Will you answer them? Some of them. It wasn't enough, but it was more than I'd had before. The people outside, I said. The guards, do they know who I am? They know you're under my protection. That's all they need to know. And they listen to you, even though you were supposed to be dead? They listen because I came back, because I'm standing here instead of buried in the ground. He paused. In my world, that means something. What does it mean? That I'm either very lucky or very dangerous. Maybe both. I moved away from him, back to the window. Lily asked me if I like you. I don't know why I said it. Maybe because I needed to shift the conversation. Maybe because I needed to hear his response. What did you tell her? He asked. That you're keeping us safe. That's all that matters. But that's not what she asked. No. Silence, long and loaded. Do you? He asked quietly. Like me? I looked at him. At this man who'd turned my life inside out, who'd brought danger to my door, who was simultaneously my captor and my protector. I don't know, I said honestly. I don't know anything anymore. That's fair. Is it? Because nothing about this is fair. No, he agreed. It's not. He moved to stand beside me. We both looked out at the grounds, at his world spread out before us. I come by every day, he said, to check on you, to make sure you have what you need. I know, but I don't stay. I've noticed. Do you know why? I looked at him, his profile sharp in the afternoon light. Why? Because if I stay, I'll want to explain, to make you understand, to make this easier. He turned to me, and I can't do that because there's no explanation that makes this okay. Something in my chest tightened. So you keep your distance, I said. I try to. Is it working? No. The confession caught me off guard. The honesty in it, the vulnerability he wasn't trying to hide. I notice things, he said. The way you check on Lily every hour. The way you sit in that chair by the window. The way you hold your coffee cup like you're trying to absorb its warmth. You're watching me. I'm protecting you. There's a difference. Is there? He didn't answer, because we both knew the line was blurry. I noticed things about you too, I said, surprising myself. The way you never raise your voice. The way people move around you like water. The way you look exhausted even though you never admit it. Observant. It's my job. Was my job. I don't know anymore. Your job is to stay alive. For Lily. That's all that matters right now. He was right, but it didn't make it easier. How long have you been doing this? I asked. Running this organization. 8 years. That's a long time to carry so much weight. Some days longer than others. I saw it then. The thing I'd been missing. The burden he carried. The responsibility for hundreds of lives. The choices that probably kept him awake at night. He wasn't just a criminal. He was a leader in a world where leadership meant survival, where weakness meant death. I don't understand your world, I said. I don't think I ever will. I'm not asking you to understand it, just to trust that I know how to navigate it. Trust, I laughed, no humor in it. You keep using that word, because it's All we have. He turned to face me fully, close enough that I could see the gold flecks in his dark eyes, close enough to feel the heat of him. I know this is hard, he said. I know you hate being here, hate me for bringing you here, but I need you to believe one thing. What? That I will keep you and Lily safe, no matter what it costs. The intensity in his voice, the certainty, it should have scared me, but it didn't. Why? I whispered. Why does it matter so much to you? He was quiet. Then, because you saved my life. And in my world, that creates a debt I can't ignore. I don't want you to feel indebted to me. Too late. He moved away, back to his desk, the moment broken, the distance restored. Margaret will bring dinner in an hour, he said, his voice back to business, controlled. If you need anything else, tell her. What about you? What about me? Will you be there at dinner? He looked at me. Something flickered in his expression. Do you want me to be? I should have said no, should have maintained my own distance, should have kept him at arm's length, but I didn't. Yes, I said. I think Lily needs to see that you're not a monster, that you're just human. I'm not sure that's better. It's honest, and right now, honest is all we have. He nodded slowly. Then I'll be there. I left his office, my mind racing, my chest tight with emotions I didn't want to examine. I found Lily in the library, same spot, same window seat. Dominic's joining us for dinner, I said. She looked up, surprised. Why? Because I asked him to. Why would you do that? Because we're going to be here for a while, and we need to understand him, to see him as a person, not just whatever we think he is. Lily studied me. You're starting to like him. I'm starting to see him. That's the same thing. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I didn't know anymore. Just give him a chance, I said. Please. She sighed, went back to her book, but I saw the corner of her mouth twitch. Almost a smile. Progress. That night, we sat in the dining room. The three of us. Margaret served food that was too good for the circumstance. Dominic sat at the head of the table, Lily and I on either side. The space between us felt both too large and too small. Thank you for joining us, I said. Thank you for inviting me, he replied. Lily rolled her eyes. This is weird. Agreed, Dominic said, and something about his honesty made Lily almost smile again. We ate, slow at first, then easier. Conversation came in fits and starts, mostly between me and Dominic. Lily listened, watched, judged. He told us about the house, how it had been in his family for generations, how he'd grown up here, how it felt both like home and a prison. I understood that feeling now. Lily asked him about the guards. He explained. Simply, honestly, without softening the truth. Are they here to keep us in or others out? She asked. Both, he said, but mostly out. That's honest, at least. It's all I can offer. After dinner, Lily excused herself, went back to the library, but before she left, she looked at Dominic. Thank you, she said, for dinner and for not lying. He nodded. You're welcome. When she was gone, I started clearing plates. Dominic helped. We worked in silence, a strange domesticity to it. She's a good kid, he said. She's the best thing in my life. I can tell. We stood at the sink, side by side, the closest we'd been since that first night. This is strange, I said. What is? This, us, playing house while the world falls apart outside. Is that what we're doing? I don't know what we're doing. He looked at me. Neither do I. But for what it's worth, this is the most normal I've felt in years. The confession surprised me. The honesty in it. The sadness. Your world isn't normal, I said. No, it's not, but maybe... He stopped, shook his head. Maybe what? Nothing, it doesn't matter. But I thought I knew what he'd been about to say. That maybe with us here, he could pretend for a few hours, for a few moments, that he was just a man having dinner, not a leader, not a criminal, not someone carrying the weight of an empire, just Dominic. And maybe, despite everything, I wanted him to have that, even if it was a lie, even if it couldn't last. The library became my refuge, not because it was safe. Nowhere felt truly safe anymore, but because it was quiet. Because the books didn't ask questions I couldn't answer, because I could lose myself in pages and pretend, just for a little while, that I was somewhere else. Lily had claimed the fiction section, young adult novels mostly, stories about ordinary teenagers with ordinary problems. I didn't have the heart to tell her those stories felt like fairy tales now. I gravitated toward the medical texts, old ones, some dating back decades. The science was outdated, but the fundamentals remained the same. Anatomy, physiology, the mechanics of keeping a body alive. It was the one thing I still understood. I was reading about cardiac function when I heard footsteps. Measured, deliberate. I knew who it was before I looked up. Dominic stood in the doorway. He'd changed from his usual dark suit into jeans and a simple shirt. It made him look younger, more human, more dangerous somehow. "Am I interrupting?" he asked. "Would it matter if you were?" Probably not. He came in anyway. Didn't ask permission. Just moved through the space like he owned it, which I supposed he did. He looked at the shelves, at the hundreds of books lining the walls, then at me. "You've been spending a lot of time in here," he said. "So have you noticed?" "I notice everything." He pulled a book from the shelf, something old, leather-bound. He turned it over in his hands like he was remembering something. "My father used to read in here," he said, "every night, no matter what was happening outside." What did he read? Philosophy mostly, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Stoic stuff about duty and control. Did it help? I don't know. He still died young. He put the book back, moved to the chair across from mine, sat down without asking. We sat in silence, not uncomfortable, just present. "Can I ask you something?" I said finally. "You can ask." "That night in the morgue, were you scared?" He thought about it, really thought. "No." "Not at all?" I'd already accepted dying. The poison was slow. I had time to make peace with it. "But you woke up." "Yes." And? And I was angry. He leaned back in the chair. Because I'd let go. I'd found that quiet place where nothing mattered anymore. And then I was pulled back into this. He gestured vaguely at the world, at everything. "Do you regret it?" I asked. "Waking up?" "Some days." He looked at me. "Not today." Something in my chest tightened. I looked down at my book, at the diagram of a heart, all those chambers and valves, so complex, so fragile. "I didn't expect to save you," I said quietly. "I was just doing my job, following protocol." "And yet you did." Did I? Or did I just delay the inevitable? Maybe there's no difference. I closed the book, set it aside. "Do you think about death a lot?" "In my line of work, you have to." "That's not what I asked." He was quiet for a long moment. The shadows deepened in the room. Outside, the sun was setting, painting everything in shades of gold and amber. "Yes," he said finally. "I think about it constantly. Who I might lose, who might betray me, how it will happen, when." "That sounds exhausting." "It is." "Then why do it? Why stay in this world?" He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. His voice dropped lower. "Because if I don't, everything I've built falls apart, and the people who depend on me, the ones who chose loyalty over opportunity, they pay the price." "So you stay because of obligation." "I stay because it's the right thing to do, even if it's not the easy thing." I understood that more than I wanted to admit. Staying for Lily, sacrificing my own wants for her needs, building a life around someone else's safety. "We're not that different," I said. "You and me." "No, we're not." The confession hung between us. Honest, raw. I should hate you, I said, for bringing us here, for turning our lives upside down. You should, but I don't, not entirely, and that scares me more than anything else. He studied me. Those dark eyes seeing too much, understanding too much. Why does it scare you? He asked. Because hating you would be easier. It would give me something clear, something simple. And I'm not simple. No, you're complicated and dangerous, and I stopped, caught myself. And what? I shook my head. Nothing. Emma. The way he said my name, soft, almost careful, it made me look up. And human, I finished. You're human, and that makes everything harder. He didn't respond, just watched me, like he was trying to figure something out. Can I tell you something? He asked. Yes. I don't come in here by accident. My pulse quickened. What do you mean? I know your routine. I know you come here every evening, after dinner, after Lily goes to bed. You're watching me. I'm aware of you. There's a difference. Is there? He stood up, moved to the window, the same one Lily always sat by during the day. When you're here, he said, you look peaceful, like you're somewhere else, somewhere better. And I don't want to take that from you, but I also... He stopped, shook his head. Also what? He turned to face me, the fading light behind him, casting him in silhouette. I also want to be in that space with you, he said quietly, even if I don't deserve it. My breath caught. Dominic, you don't have to say anything. I know this is wrong, all of it, but I'm tired of pretending I don't feel it. Feel what? He moved closer, not threatening, just present, undeniable. This, he said, whatever this is between us, I felt it that first night. When you looked at me like I was a person instead of a body, like I mattered. You were a patient. I was a stranger, a danger, and you still saw me. I stood up, needed to, couldn't sit while he said these things. This can't happen, I said. Whatever you think you feel, I'm not thinking anything. I'm just telling you the truth. The truth doesn't change the situation. I know. We stood there, too close, the air between us charged with something I didn't want to name. Why are you telling me this? I whispered. Because I'm tired of the distance. Because every day I come to check on you, and every day I walk away, and every day it gets harder. So you want to make it my problem? I want to be honest about what I feel, about what I see in your eyes when you look at me. You don't know what you see, don't I? He stepped closer, close enough that I could feel the warmth radiating from him, close enough to see the faint scar along his jaw, the shadow of stubble, the exhaustion he tried to hide. Tell me I'm wrong, he said. Tell me you don't feel it too. I wanted to lie, wanted to maintain the distance that kept everything simple, but I couldn't. This is insane, I whispered. Yes. We barely know each other. I know, but somehow I feel like I've known you longer than anyone. That's the situation, the intensity. It's not real. It feels real. He reached up, slow, careful, giving me time to move away. His hand touched my face, so gentle, like I was something precious he didn't want to break. My breath caught, my pulse hammered. Tell me to stop, he said. I should have stepped back, should have restored the boundaries that kept us safe. But I didn't. I can't, I whispered. Something in his expression shifted. Relief, fear, want. Emma, don't, I said. Don't say anything else. Just stay. Here? Here. He dropped his hand, stepped back, but not far, just enough to breathe. We stood like that, in the growing darkness, the library filling with shadows. I should go, he said, but he didn't move. You should, but I don't want to. I know. The confession hung between us, honest, terrifying. What are we doing? I asked. I don't know, but I know I can't keep pretending I don't want to be near you. This is dangerous. Everything is dangerous. He was right, but it didn't make it easier. 1 hour, I said, surprising myself. Stay for 1 hour, just sit with me. No talking, no decisions, just, just being. Yes. He nodded, moved back to his chair. I sat in mine. We didn't speak, didn't need to. Outside, the sun finished setting. The room grew dark. Margaret would wonder where we were. Lily might come looking. But for 1 hour, none of that mattered. For 1 hour, we existed in a space between danger and safety, between right and wrong, between what we should do and what we wanted. And when the hour ended, when he finally stood to leave, he paused by my chair. "Thank you," he said quietly. "For what?" "For seeing me. Not what I do, not what I represent, just me." Then he left, and the library felt colder, emptier. I sat in the darkness, my hand touching my face where he'd touched it, still feeling the warmth, and I realized something that scared me more than anything else. I'd been waiting for him to come, hoping he would, wanting him to, not because I needed protection, not because I was trapped here, but because when he was near me, I felt less alone. And that was the most dangerous thing of all. After that night in the library, something changed. Not all at once, not dramatically, but like ice slowly melting, like walls developing cracks too small to see but impossible to ignore. Dominic stopped keeping his distance. He still came by once a day, but now he stayed longer, asked more questions, told me things he probably shouldn't, and I stopped pretending I didn't want him to. It started small. He'd join us for breakfast instead of just dinner. He'd sit with Lily while she did schoolwork Margaret had somehow procured. He'd explain things when she asked. Patient, honest, never talking down to her. I watched him with her. The careful way he spoke, the respect he showed, and something in my chest ached. This man, this dangerous, complicated man. He was good with my sister. "He's not so bad," Lily said one afternoon. We were alone in her room. She was sketching, something she'd always done when she needed to process. "No," I agreed. "He's not. Do you trust him?" I thought about it, really thought. "I trust that he'll keep us safe." That's not what I asked. She was too smart, always had been. "I don't know," I said honestly, "but I'm starting to." She looked at me, her eyes older than they should be. "He looks at you different." "Different how?" "Like you matter, like you're not just someone he has to protect." My chest tightened. "Lily, I'm not stupid, Emma. I see things." "There's nothing to see." "If you say so." But she was right. There was something, and it was getting harder to ignore. That evening, I found Dominic in what looked like a meeting room. Large table, chairs arranged around it. He stood at the head, papers spread before him. 3 men sat listening, their faces hard, serious. I started to leave, to give him privacy, but he looked up. "Stay," he said. Not a request, not quite a command, something in between. The men turned, looked at me. One of them frowned. "Boss," he started. "She stays," Dominic said, his voice unchanged, calm, absolute. The man nodded, said nothing more. I moved to the side of the room, leaned against the wall, tried to be invisible. Dominic continued, talking about routes, shipments, things I didn't fully understand, but I understood the tension, the weight of every decision. One man disagreed with something, his voice rising slightly, not disrespectful, just passionate. Dominic listened, didn't interrupt. When the man finished, Dominic responded. His voice never raised, never harsh, but firm, final. The man nodded, accepted it. I watched this. The way Dominic commanded without demanding. The way he listened before deciding. The way respect flowed to him naturally. This was leadership, real leadership. Not the kind built on fear, but on something deeper, something earned. The meeting ended, the men left, nodding to Dominic, glancing at me with curiosity but no hostility. When we were alone, I said, "You didn't have to let me stay." "I know." "Why did you?" He gathered his papers, slow, methodical. "Because you asked about my world, and I'm tired of hiding it from you." "I didn't ask to see a meeting." "No, but you asked who I am. This is who I am." He moved around the table, closer to me. "I make decisions that affect hundreds of people. Some of those decisions are hard. Some are dangerous, but they're all necessary. You don't have to justify yourself to me." "I'm not justifying, I'm explaining." "Why?" He stopped in front of me, close but not touching. "Because I want you to understand, to see all of it, not just the dangerous parts, not just the man who appeared on your table, all of it. I'm not sure I can handle all of it." "Yes, you can. You're stronger than you think." The certainty in his voice, like he knew me better than I knew myself. "That man who disagreed with you," I said, "what if he'd kept arguing?" "He wouldn't have." "But what if?" "Then I would have listened until he was finished. And then I would have explained why my decision stands, and he would have accepted it." "And if he didn't?" Dominic was quiet. Then he would no longer be part of this organization." "You'd just remove him?" "I'd give him a choice, accept my leadership or leave, but I wouldn't hurt him, not unless he became a threat." "How do you decide? Who's a threat and who's not?" "Experience, instinct, and sometimes—" He paused. "Sometimes I'm wrong." The admission surprised me. "Like with Marcus." "Yes, like with Marcus." He moved to the window, the same position he took when he needed distance, when the weight got too heavy. "I trusted him completely," Dominic said. "We grew up together, fought together, built this together." "What happened?" "I don't know. One day he was loyal, the next—" He shook his head. "Maybe he was planning it for years. Maybe it was a sudden decision. I'll probably never know." "Does it matter, knowing why?" "It does to me." I moved closer, standing beside him, looking out at the same view. "The poison," I said. "How did he do it?" "Slowly, over weeks, small doses, enough to weaken me, but not enough to kill immediately." "You must have felt it, the symptoms." "I did. I thought I was just tired, stressed. I never suspected—" His voice trailed off, and I heard it. The pain, the betrayal. "I'm sorry," I said. "Don't be. It taught me something." "What?" "That trust is earned, and it can be lost. And sometimes the people closest to you are the most dangerous." He looked at me then, really looked. "But sometimes they're also the most valuable." The weight of his words, the meaning behind them. "Are we talking about Marcus?" I asked quietly. "No." My breath caught. "Dominic. I know this is complicated. I know you didn't ask for any of this, but I need you to know something." "What?" "I trust you more than I've trusted anyone in a long time. You barely know me. I know enough. I know you saved my life when you could have turned away. I know you came here to protect Lily. I know you sit with me in libraries and at dinner, and you see me, actually see me." He turned to face me fully, and I know that scares you, because it scares me too. I didn't know what to say, how to respond, so I just stood there, looking at him. "Why are you telling me this?" I whispered. "Because I'm tired of pretending. Because every day I spend near you makes it harder to maintain distance. Because—" He stopped, shook his head. "Because what?" "Because you make me want things I gave up on a long time ago." "Like what?" "Normal, peace, a life that isn't just survival." Something in my chest cracked. "I can't give you that." "I know, but you make me believe it's possible, and that's more than I've had in years." We stood there, the space between us shrinking, not physically, but emotionally, the walls coming down, the armor cracking. "I don't know what this is," I said, between us. Neither do I. It could be dangerous. Everything about me is dangerous? That's not reassuring. I'm not trying to reassure you. I'm trying to be honest. And he was, painfully, terrifyingly honest. I should go check on Lily, I said, but I didn't move. You should. But I don't want to. His eyes searched mine. What do you want? I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know anything anymore. He reached out, slow, giving me time. His hand found mine, just our fingers touching. Nothing more, but it felt like everything. Then, don't decide, he said quietly. Just be here, in this moment, nothing more. So I did. I stayed, our hands connected, the weight of the world outside that window, but inside, just us, just this. Tell me something, I said after a while. Something true, something you've never told anyone. He thought about it. I'm tired. That's not, I mean really tired, bone deep, soul deep. Some days I wake up and I don't know how I'm going to keep doing this, keep making decisions, keep carrying the weight. His voice was quiet, raw, but then I do, because people are counting on me, because stopping isn't an option, because what? Because I don't know who I am without it. I squeezed his hand. You're more than this, more than your organization. Am I? Yes, you're the man who has dinner with a frightened teenager and makes her laugh. You're the man who listens in meetings instead of just commanding. You're the man who sits in libraries and talks about childhood and loss. I looked at him. You're Dominic, not the boss, not the leader, just Dominic. Something in his expression shifted, softened, like I'd said something he needed to hear. When you say my name like that, he said, I almost believe it. Then believe it. We stood like that, hands connected, the night deepening around us. Eventually, footsteps in the hallway. Margaret, checking on things like she always did. Dominic released my hand, stepped back. The distance restored, but different somehow, less absolute. You should go, he said. Lily will wonder. Will you be okay? The question surprised him. Why wouldn't I be? Because you just told me you're exhausted, and I'm leaving you alone with that. I'm used to being alone with it. That doesn't make it better. He smiled then, small, sad. No, it doesn't. I moved toward the door, stopped, looked back. Dominic? Yes? Thank you for letting me see this, see you. Thank you for not running. I left, found Lily reading in her room. She looked up, studied my face. You were with him, she said, not a question. Yes. Are you okay? Was I? I didn't know. Everything felt upside down, inside out. I think so, I said. You like him. It's complicated. That's what people say when they don't want to admit something. She was right, as usual. Maybe I do, I said quietly. Is that okay? She thought about it. He's keeping us safe. He's honest, and he makes you less sad than you've been since Mom died. My throat tightened. I didn't know you noticed. I notice everything. She went back to her book. Just don't get hurt, okay? I'll try. But I wasn't sure I could keep that promise, because hurt was inevitable. Whether from him or the situation or my own stupid heart that was starting to see him as more than just a dangerous man, as someone who mattered, as someone I was starting to care about. And that was the most dangerous thing of all. The next morning started like all the others. Breakfast with Lily, Margaret bringing fresh fruit and coffee, Dominic joining us. The strange domesticity we'd fallen into, except something was different. I noticed it immediately. The way Dominic's jaw was tight, the way his eyes kept flicking to his phone, the way he barely touched his food. What's wrong? I asked. Nothing. Don't lie to me, not now. He looked at Lily, then at me. Can we talk? After breakfast? My stomach dropped. Of course. Lily noticed too. Is everything okay? Everything's fine, Dominic said, but his voice lacked conviction. The rest of breakfast passed in tense silence. When Lily excused herself, I followed Dominic to his office. He closed the door, stood with his back to it, like he was blocking an exit. "What happened?" I asked. He pulled out his phone, showed me a message. 5 words, no signature, no context. "We know where she is." The room tilted. "When did you get this?" "3 hours ago." "And you're just telling me now?" I needed to verify it was real, to make sure it wasn't a bluff. "And?" His silence was answer enough. "How?" I whispered. "How did they find us?" "I don't know. This place is off the grid. No one outside my inner circle knows about it." "Then someone in your inner circle talked." He didn't deny it, just stood there. Jaw clenched, eyes dark with something that looked like rage barely contained. "What do we do?" I asked. "I move you. Tonight. Somewhere. Else. Somewhere safer." "Where?" "I can't tell you." "What do you mean you can't tell me?" He moved closer. "I mean, I won't know where you are. No one will. You'll be completely isolated, protected by people who don't know who I am or why you matter." My chest tightened. "You're sending us away." "I'm keeping you alive." "By hiding us? By making us disappear?" "Yes." "No." The word came out harder than I intended, sharper. Dominic stopped. "Emma, no," I said again. "I'm done being moved around. Done being treated like a package that needs storing." "This isn't up for discussion." "Everything is up for discussion. This is my life, Lily's life. And I'm trying to save them. By separating us from you, by sending us somewhere you can't protect us, I'll have people. I don't want people. I want—" I stopped, caught myself. "What?" His voice dropped lower. "What do you want?" I looked at him, at this man who'd become more than just my captor, more than just my protector. "I want to stay," I whispered. "That's not possible." "Why not?" "Because they know you're here, which means they're coming, and I won't let you be here when they do. So let me help. Let me fight." "You're not a fighter." Neither was I a fugitive, but here we are. He shook his head, moved to his desk, braced his hands against it. "You don't understand what you're asking." "Then explain it to me." "If you stay, you become a target. Not just collateral, not just leverage, an actual target." "I'm already a target." "Not like this. Right now, they want information. They want to use you to get to me. But if you're here when they come," he looked at me, "they'll make an example of you." The certainty in his voice, the fear beneath the control. "I'm not leaving," I said. "Emma, I'm not leaving you." The words hung between us, honest, raw, undeniable. His expression shifted, something breaking, something cracking. "Why?" he asked quietly. "Why would you stay?" "Because I already chose. That night in the morgue, and every night since. I chose this. I chose you. You don't know what you're choosing." "Don't I?" I moved closer. "I see who you are, what you carry, what you sacrifice, and I'm still here." "This is different." "How?" "Because now it's real. Now the danger isn't theoretical. It's coming, and I can't—" His voice broke, just slightly. "I can't protect you and fight them at the same time." "Then don't." He looked at me, confused. "Don't protect me," I said. "Trust me to protect myself, to stay out of the way, to be smart." "That's not enough." "It has to be, because I'm not running anymore." We stood there, too close, the air thick with everything unsaid. "If you stay," he said slowly, "you're choosing this life, this danger, this uncertainty." "I know. You're choosing me." "Yes." Something in his expression cracked completely. The control he maintained so carefully, the distance he kept so religiously, gone. He crossed the space between us, not fast, not aggressive, just inevitable. He stopped in front of me, close enough that I felt the heat of him, close enough to see the exhaustion. the fear, the want. Tell me to send you away, he said, his voice rough. Tell me to do the smart thing. I can't. Emma, I can't because I don't want to go. I don't want to be somewhere safe if it means being somewhere without you. His hand came up, touched my face, so gentle, like I was something precious, something fragile. This is insane, he whispered. Yes. We barely know each other. I know enough. I'm dangerous. I know that too. His forehead rested against mine. I should send you away anyway, for your own good. But you won't. No, I won't. Why? Because I'm selfish, because I want you here, because the thought of not knowing where you are, not being able to see you. He pulled back slightly, looked at me. It's worse than any threat they could make. My breath caught. Dominic, I know it's wrong. I know I should want you safe more than I want you near me, but I can't lie about this. Not to you. He stepped back, ran his hand through his hair, the control trying to reassert itself. If you stay, he said, there are rules. You stay inside. You don't go anywhere without one of my people. You do exactly what I say when I say it. Okay. And Lily, she stays too. Emma, she's a child. She's my responsibility. If I'm staying, she's staying. He looked like he wanted to argue, but he didn't. Fine, he said, but she stays in her room. No exceptions. I'll talk to her. No. He moved to his desk, pulled out his phone. I'll talk to her. She needs to understand what this means, what's at stake. She's 14, and she's smart. She deserves the truth. He was right. Lily did deserve the truth, even if it terrified her. When will they come? I asked. I don't know. Could be tonight, could be a week, but they'll come. Are you ready? He looked at me, really looked. I've been ready since the moment I woke up on your table. There was something in his voice, something final, like he'd been preparing for this confrontation since the beginning. What will you do? I asked, when they come. What I have to. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. He moved toward the door, stopped, turned back. Emma. Yes? Thank you. For what? For staying, for trusting me, for, he paused, for seeing me as more than just the danger. You are more than the danger. Am I? Sometimes I'm not sure. I'm sure. Something in his expression softened. Then that's enough. He left, and I stood alone in his office, my heart pounding, my mind racing. What had I done? What had I chosen? I thought about Lily, about my old life, about the safety I'd fought so hard to build, and I realized I'd trade all of it for this, for him, for the chance to stand beside him instead of running, even if it meant facing whatever came next, even if it meant risking everything. Because somewhere between that first night and now, between fear and trust, between captivity and choice, I'd stopped seeing him as my captor and started seeing him as someone worth fighting for, someone worth staying for, someone worth risking my life to protect. And that scared me more than any threat, more than any danger, because it meant I'd fallen hard for the man who was supposed to be my enemy, for Dominic. And there was no going back from that. I found him later that evening, standing outside, alone, staring at nothing. I walked up beside him, didn't speak, just stood there. After a long moment, he said, "You should be inside." So should you? I needed air. So did I. We stood in silence, the night cold, the stars bright. I talked to Lily, he said. She understands. She's scared, but she understands. Thank you. She asked me something. What? He looked at me. She asked if I cared about you, really cared, not just as someone to protect. My heart stopped. What did you tell her? The truth. Which is, he turned to face me fully, that I care about you more than I should, more than is smart, more than is safe. The confession hung between us, raw, honest. Dominic, I know it's complicated. I know this situation makes everything messy, but I need you to know, before they come, before everything changes." He stepped closer, close enough that I could feel the warmth of him against the cold night. "I need you to know that you matter," he said quietly. "Not because of what you saw, not because you saved my life, but because you're you. And somehow, in all this chaos, you've become the one thing that makes sense." I couldn't breathe, couldn't think, could only feel. "I don't know what to say," I whispered. "Then don't say anything. Just know it. Just believe it." His hand found mine, fingers intertwining, a promise, a choice. "Whatever happens," he said, "whatever comes next, you're not alone in this. Neither are you." He pulled me closer. Not a kiss, not yet, just closeness, just presence. His forehead rested against mine, his breath warm against my skin. "They're coming," he whispered. "I know. And I'm terrified." "Of them?" "Of losing you." My chest ached. "You won't. You can't promise that. Neither can you, but we're here anyway." He pulled back slightly, looked at me, and in his eyes I saw everything: the fear, the want, the desperate hope that somehow we'd survive this. "Emma," he said, my name like a prayer, like a plea. "I'm here," I said. "I'm right here." And I was. Despite everything, despite the danger, despite the impossibility of it all, I was here, with him, choosing this, choosing him, and I wasn't going anywhere. We stood there in the cold night, his hand in mine, the world narrowing to just this moment, the threat that was coming, the danger waiting in the shadows. All of it faded. All I could feel was him, here, now, real. "We should go inside," he said, but he didn't move. "We should, but I don't want to. Neither do I." His thumb traced circles on my hand, such a small gesture, but it felt like everything. "Emma," he said quietly, "if I'm being honest, always be honest, please." He looked at me, the moonlight catching the gold in his dark eyes. "I'm not good at this." "At what?" "This, feeling, wanting. I've spent years shutting it down, focusing only on control, on survival. And now? Now I don't know how to shut it down anymore. Because of you?" My breath caught. "Dominic." "Let me finish, please." He stepped closer. "From the moment you looked at me on that table, when you could have panicked or run or done anything except see me as a person, something shifted. I was just doing my job. No, you were doing more than that. You were showing me what I'd forgotten, that I'm more than what I do, more than this world I've built." He raised his free hand, touched my face. So gentle, like I might disappear. "You make me want things I gave up on," he continued. "Normal things, simple things. A life where I don't have to calculate every move, where I can just be. You can have that. Not in my world." "Then leave it." The words surprised us both, but I meant them. "Leave it," I said again. "Walk away, start over, choose something different." "It's not that simple." "Why not?" "Because people depend on me. Because walking away means abandoning everyone who stayed loyal, everyone who believed in what we built." "And what about what you believe in?" He was quiet, his hands still on my face, his eyes searching mine. "I don't know anymore," he whispered. "I used to be certain about everything, about my purpose, my role, what I was fighting for. And now? Now all I'm certain about is this: you, here. The way you look at me, like I'm worth something beyond my name." Something in my chest cracked. "You are worth something." Am I? Sometimes I look in the mirror and I don't recognize myself. I see my father, his choices, his mistakes, all the things I swore I'd never become. You're not him. How do you know? Because you're standing here, questioning, doubting, wanting something better. He never did that, did he? Dominic's expression shifted, something like wonder, like I'd said something he needed to hear. "No," he said, He never did. We stood like that, his hand on my face, mine still in his, the space between us charged with everything we weren't saying. I shouldn't do this, he said. Do what? This. His voice dropped lower, rougher. Pull you closer, make this more complicated than it already is. Then don't. I'm trying, but you make it impossible. Good. His eyes widened slightly. Good? I don't want you to find it easy. I don't want distance. I don't want careful. What do you want? This, you, whatever this is between us. It's dangerous. I know. It's complicated. I know that too. We barely know each other. Stop making excuses. The words came out sharper than I intended, but I was tired. Tired of the distance, the hesitation, the careful space we kept between us. I'm scared, he admitted, of what I feel, of what it means, of what I could lose. So am I, but I'm more scared of not knowing, of always wondering, what if? I stepped closer, eliminating the last bit of space. My free hand came up to his chest. I felt his heartbeat, fast, unsteady, matching mine. Tell me you don't feel this, I whispered. Tell me it's just the situation, the intensity. Tell me it's not real. I can't. Why not? Because it would be a lie, and I promise to always be honest with you. His other hand came up, cupped my face, both of us holding on, both of us terrified. Emma, he breathed, if we do this, if we cross this line, there's no going back. I know. Everything changes. It already has. He closed his eyes, like he was fighting something, losing. When he opened them again, I saw the moment he surrendered, the moment he stopped fighting what was between us. I can't promise you safety, he said. I can't promise you normal. I can't promise you easy. I never wanted easy. What do you want? Real. I want real. And this feels real. Something in his expression broke. The last wall, the final defense. Yes, he said, it does. I don't know who moved first. Maybe both of us, maybe neither. But suddenly the distance was gone. His lips found mine, not gentle, not careful, just honest, raw, real. I gasped against his mouth, my hands fisting in his shirt, pulling him closer, kneading him closer. He made a sound low in his throat, his arms wrapping around me. Solid, sure, like he'd been holding back for so long and couldn't anymore. The kiss deepened, desperate, like we were both starving, like this was the only thing that mattered. His hand tangled in my hair. My nails dug into his shoulders. We held onto each other like letting go meant drowning. When we finally broke apart, breathless and shaking, his forehead pressed against mine. Emma, he said, his voice wrecked, rough. What are we doing? I don't know, but I don't want to stop. We should be smart about this. When has smart ever mattered? He laughed, short, almost broken. Never, not with you. His hands framed my face, his eyes searching mine. I'm in too deep. So am I. I don't know how to do this, how to balance what I feel with what I have to do. Then don't balance, just feel. It's not that simple. Yes, it is. You're making it complicated. He kissed me again, softer this time, slower, like he was memorizing it, like he was afraid it might be the last time. When he pulled back, his thumb traced my lower lip. You're making me reckless. Good. Emma? Stop thinking, just be here, with me, right now. That's all that matters. His eyes held mine, dark, intense, full of everything he wasn't saying. You're right, he said quietly. Nothing else matters. Not the threat, not the danger, not what happens tomorrow. Just this. He kissed me again and again, each one a promise, a choice, a surrender. My back hit the wall. I hadn't realized we'd moved, didn't care. His hands were in my hair, on my waist, everywhere and not enough. I pulled him closer, needing to feel all of him, needing to know this was real, that he was real. Tell me to stop, he murmured against my lips. Tell me this is too much. Don't stop. Emma, don't stop. Don't think. Just stay with me. His control shattered completely. He kissed me like he was drowning and I was air, like I was the only thing keeping him tethered. And maybe I was, maybe we both were. Two people holding on in the middle of chaos. When we finally broke apart, both of us breathing hard, he rested his forehead against mine again. This changes everything, he said. I know. I can't take it back. I don't want you to. He pulled back slightly, looked at me, really looked. What if I can't keep you safe? What if choosing this means putting you in more danger? Then we face it together. That's not, it is, because I'm not running anymore. I'm not hiding. I'm choosing this, choosing you, whatever comes with it. His eyes searched mine, looking for doubt, for hesitation. He wouldn't find any. You're sure? He asked. Yes. Even knowing what I am, what I do, especially knowing that, because you're also the man who has dinner with my sister, who listens instead of commanding, who's trying to be better than what he was raised to be. Something in his expression cracked. You see too much. No, I see exactly enough. He kissed me again, softer now, gentler, like a thank you, like a promise. When he pulled back, he smiled, small, almost fragile, but real. I've never felt this before, he said quietly. Felt what? Hope. That maybe there's something beyond survival, beyond just making it through each day. There is, I promise. Don't make promises you can't keep. I'm not, because I'll be here, making sure you see it, making sure you believe it. He kissed my forehead, my cheeks, my nose, like he was memorizing me. What are you doing? I asked. Trying to believe this is real, that you're real, that I'm not going to wake up and find this was all just what? A dream. A moment of peace before everything falls apart. I took his face in my hands, made him look at me. I'm real. This is real. And whatever happens next, we face it together. Together, he repeated, like he was testing the word, like it was foreign. Yes, together. He nodded slowly, then pulled me close, just holding me, his chin resting on top of my head, his arms solid and sure around me. We stood like that, for minutes, for an eternity. I didn't know. The cold night air, the threat waiting, the uncertainty of tomorrow. All of it faded. All that mattered was this. His arms around me, his heartbeat steady against my ear, the quiet certainty that whatever came next, we'd face it side by side. We should go inside, he said eventually. It's cold. I don't care. Your lips are turning blue. Still don't care. He laughed, soft, warm, the sound vibrating through his chest. Stubborn. You like it? Yes, I do. He pulled back, took my hand, led me toward the door. Come on, before we both freeze. Inside, the house was quiet, dark, everyone asleep or at their posts. We stood in the hallway, neither of us wanting to let go, neither of us ready for this moment to end. I should check on Lily, I said. You should. Will you be okay? He smiled. I will now. Dominic, he kissed me, quick, soft, a promise. Go. Check on your sister. I'll be here. Promise? Promise. I went upstairs, found Lily asleep, her face peaceful, unaware of what had just happened, what had changed. I sat on the edge of her bed, watched her breathe, and I made a silent promise. Whatever happened, whatever came, I would keep her safe. And somehow, impossibly, I would keep him safe too, because I loved him. The realization hit me all at once. Simple, undeniable, terrifying. I loved him. This dangerous, complicated, impossible man. I loved him, and there was no going back from that. I left Lily's room, went to my own, lay down fully dressed, stared at the ceiling. My lips still tingled, my heart still raced, my body still hummed with the memory of his touch. Tomorrow, the threat would come. Tomorrow, everything would change. But tonight, for just a few hours, I had this. The knowledge that I wasn't alone, that he felt it too, that whatever happened next, we'd face it together. And somehow, impossibly, that was enough. Morning came too fast and too slow. I woke to soft knocking, not urgent, but persistent. Dominic stood in my doorway, already dressed, his expression carefully neutral. But I saw the tension in his jaw, the shadows under his eyes. He hadn't slept either. "We need to talk," he said. "Now?" "Now." I followed him downstairs to his office. The door closed behind us with a finality that made my chest tight. He moved to his desk, didn't sit, just stood there, hands braced against the wood. "I got more information," he said, "about Marcus, about his plans. And? And it's worse than I thought." He pulled out a folder, spread papers across the desk. Names, locations, photographs. I recognized some faces from the house, people I'd seen in the hallways, at meals. "Marcus has been building support for months," Dominic continued, "converting people slowly, promising them more freedom, more profit, everything I wouldn't give them." "How many?" "Almost half." The number hit like a punch. "Half of your organization?" "Yes." I moved closer, looked at the papers. The evidence of betrayal mapped out in black and white. "When will he move?" I asked. "Soon, maybe days, maybe hours." He looked at me. "He knows I'm alive now, which means he has to act fast or lose his chance." "What will you do?" "What I have to. Consolidate loyalty, remove the threats, make it clear that I'm back and I'm not going anywhere." The way he said it, clinical, controlled, like he was discussing business instead of survival. "Dominic, but there's something else." He reached into his jacket, pulled out an envelope. "This came this morning." I took it, opened it. Inside was a single page. Typed, unsigned. It was an offer, a deal. Leave, take Lily, disappear completely. New identities, new lives, protection from a distance. All we had to do was go. Now, before the conflict started. "Who sent this?" I asked. "Someone in Marcus's camp. Someone who thinks you're leverage but doesn't want you caught in the crossfire." "So they're offering us a way out." "Yes." I read it again. The promise of safety, of a normal life, of everything I'd lost when I helped him that first night. "What do you think?" I asked. He was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was careful, measured. "I think it's the smart choice," he said. "For you and Lily, you'd be safe, protected, away from all of this." "That's not what I asked. What do you think I should do?" He looked at me then, really looked, and I saw everything in his eyes. The want, the fear, the desperate hope that I'd stay, and the terrible knowledge that he couldn't ask me to. "I think you should go," he said quietly. The words felt like a knife. "What?" "I think you should take this offer. Leave. Build the life you deserve. The one that doesn't involve looking over your shoulder, doesn't involve danger at every turn. And you?" "I stay. I fight. I finish this. Alone." "Yes, alone." I set the paper down, my hands shaking. "Is that what you want?" "What I want doesn't matter. It matters to me." He moved around the desk, stopped in front of me, close but not touching. "Emma," he said, "last night was everything, but it doesn't change reality. It doesn't make this world any less dangerous, any less likely to destroy you. So you're pushing me away. I'm giving you a choice, a real one this time. Stay and risk everything, or go and be safe." You make it sound so simple. It is simple. You just don't want it to be. Anger flared in my chest. "Don't tell me what I want." "Then tell me, what do you want?" "You. I want you." The confession hung between us. Raw, honest. His expression cracked. "You can't have me and safety. They don't coexist." "I don't care about safety." "You should. Lily should. Lily deserves a sister who fights for what matters, who doesn't run when things get hard. This isn't about running, it's about surviving. It's the same thing. No, it's not. We stood there, the space between us charged with everything we weren't saying. If I go, I said slowly, what happens to you? I do what I've always done, I handle it. And if you lose, I won't. But if you do, he was quiet. Then at least you weren't here to see it. Something in my chest broke. You think you're protecting me by pushing me away, by making me leave. I am protecting you. No, you're protecting yourself from having to care, from having to risk losing someone. His jaw tightened. That's not fair, isn't it? You let me in, let me see you, let me care about you, and now you want me to just walk away? I want you to be safe. I'm not going to be safe. Not if I leave. Not if I spend every day wondering if you're alive or dead, if you won or lost, if I could have helped. You can't help with this. How do you know? Because this is my world, my fight, and I won't let you become collateral. Then don't. Let me stand beside you. Let me choose this. You're not thinking clearly. I'm thinking perfectly clearly. For the first time since this started. I moved closer until we were almost touching. You said last night that we're in this together. You said whatever happens, we face it side by side. I know what I said. Then don't take it back now. Don't make that promise and then push me away the moment it gets real. His hands came up, gripped my arms. Not hard, just holding on. Emma, he said, his voice rough. If something happens to you because of me, because I was selfish enough to let you stay, I won't survive it. And if I leave and something happens to you, you think I'll survive that? We stood there, both of us trembling, both of us terrified. I can't make this decision for you, he said finally. I can't tell you to stay. It's too selfish, too dangerous. Then I'll make it myself. Emma, I'm staying. The words came out strong, certain, no hesitation. He closed his eyes. You don't know what you're choosing. Yes, I do. I'm choosing you. I'm choosing us. I'm choosing to stand beside you instead of wondering from a distance. This could end badly. Everything could end badly. That's not a reason to run. You're supposed to be the smart one. I am being smart. I'm choosing what matters over what's safe. He opened his eyes, looked at me, and I saw the moment he stopped fighting it, the moment he accepted that I wasn't leaving. If you stay, he said quietly, there are things you need to know. Truth I've been holding back. Tell me. He pulled away, moved to the window, the position he took when the weight got too heavy. Marcus isn't just trying to take over, he said. He's trying to dismantle everything I built, every rule, every boundary. He wants chaos, pure profit without conscience. And you want? Control, order, a system that protects people instead of exploiting them. He paused. I know that sounds hypocritical, given what I am, what I do. It doesn't. It sounds like you're trying to be better than what you were given. Maybe. Or maybe I'm just deluding myself that there's a difference between his way and mine. There is a difference. I've seen it. He turned to face me. If I win this, if I keep control, things will get harder before they get easier. I'll have to make examples, show strength, do things that will what? That will make you see me differently. I moved to stand beside him. I already know who you are, what you're capable of, and I'm still here. For now, forever, if you'll have me. His breath caught. Forever is a long time. Then let's start with today, and tomorrow, and the day after, and see where it takes us. Something in his expression shifted, softened. You're really not leaving. No, I'm really not. Even knowing what's coming, especially knowing what's coming. He reached for me then, pulled me close, his arms wrapping around me like I was the only thing keeping him standing. I don't deserve you, he murmured into my hair. Probably not, But you're stuck with me anyway. He laughed, soft, almost broken. What about Lily? She stays too. I already talked to her. He pulled back. When? This morning, before you knocked. I told her everything, the offer, the danger, the choice. And she agreed to stay? She said if I trust you, she trusts you, and that she'd rather be here with us than safe and alone. His eyes searched mine. She's braver than I am. She's 14. She doesn't know any better. Neither do you, apparently. Apparently not. We stood like that, holding each other, the morning light streaming through the window. Outside, I could hear the house waking up. People moving, guards changing shifts, the machine of his world continuing. What happens now? I asked. Now we prepare. Make sure everyone loyal is ready. Make sure Lily is protected no matter what. And us? We face whatever comes, together. Together, I repeated. The word feeling like a promise, like a vow. He kissed me then, soft, slow, like we had all the time in the world instead of hours or days. When he pulled back, he rested his forehead against mine. I can't promise you safety. I know. I can't promise you normal. I know that too. I can't promise you easy. I never wanted easy. I just wanted real. And this, you, us, this feels real. He smiled then, small, fragile, but genuine. Yes, it does. Someone knocked on the door, sharp, urgent. Dominic's expression shifted immediately. Back to the man in control, the leader. Come in, he said. One of his men entered. Young, nervous. Boss, we have movement, 3 cars approaching. They're not ours. Dominic nodded, calm. Alert everyone, full lockdown. No one moves without my say. Yes, sir. The man left, the door closing behind him. Dominic looked at me. It's starting. My heart hammered. Already? Marcus isn't patient, not anymore. He moved to his desk, pulled out his phone, started typing. Go get Lily, take her to the safe room, 3rd floor, end of the East Hall. Margaret knows where. What about you? I'll handle this. Dominic, Emma, please, I need to know you're safe so I can focus. He was right, but it didn't make it easier. Okay, I said, but you come back to us. You promise me you come back. He crossed the room, kissed me hard, desperate. I promise. Then he was gone, moving fast, calling orders, becoming the man his people needed. I ran upstairs, found Lily in her room, already dressed, already waiting. It's happening, I said. I know, I heard the guards. We need to go, now. She grabbed her bag, followed me without question. We found Margaret in the hallway, her face calm, professional. This way, she said. We followed her through corridors I'd never seen. Upstairs, down another hall, to a room with a heavy door and no windows. You'll be safe here, Margaret said. No one gets in without the code. What about you? I asked. I have my duties. Don't worry about me. She started to leave. I grabbed her arm. Thank you for everything. She nodded. He's a good man, better than his father, better than most in this life. You chose well. Then she was gone, the door closing, locking from the outside. Lily and I sat on the narrow bed, in the silence, in the waiting. Are you scared? She asked. Terrified. Me too. I wrapped my arm around her, held her close. It's going to be okay. You don't know that. No, but I believe it, and sometimes that's enough. We sat there, listening. The walls were thick, soundproof. We couldn't hear anything from outside, which was somehow worse than hearing everything. Time crawled. Minutes felt like hours. Hours felt like days. I thought about Dominic, about where he was, what he was doing, if he was safe. I thought about that first night, the moment he opened his eyes on my table, the moment everything changed. I thought about every conversation since, every shared look, every touch, every choice that led us here. And I realized something. I didn't regret any of it. Not helping him, not coming here, not staying, not choosing him, even if everything fell apart, even if we didn't survive, even if this was the worst decision I'd ever made. I didn't regret it. Because for the first time in years, I felt alive. I felt like I mattered, like my choices mattered, like I was more than just someone surviving. I was someone living. And if that meant facing danger, if that meant risking everything, if that meant standing beside a man who lived in shadows, then so be it. I'd chosen him, chosen this, chosen us, and I wasn't going anywhere.